What's going on, Aces? Welcome back to the channel. So Love and Marriage Huntsville, their second half of their season, well done, Carlos King, okay? They gave Kiki and her, substance abuse, Crime Stopper situation a break. So I'm so glad because she needs to focus on her recovery and not on how she looks on screen. But this episode, 19, Town Hall Downfall, begins right where the last one left off. And Marsau and Melody are sitting outside the cafe, and Marsau, of course, is showing his true misogynistic, jealous colors, and he's trying to shade Mel's business. Now, here's the reality, right? I don't care if, you're selling a pet rock, which were very lucrative in the 70s, by the way. Marsau, giving a devaluation of Melody's e-commerce business shows that he is truly ignorant, in my opinion, of the market trends, right? So as you guys know, we have been in globalization for the past 15 to 20 years. Then we're now in the digital era, okay? And him saying that, I don't value e-commerce, but yet he's trying to basically copy and paste because they're selling t-shirts as well out of Blaque, shows that he is not paying attention to market trends. Nordstrom just closed. If you guys remember, Montgomery Ward's closed. All these retail shops closed. I remember I listened to Stephen Bartlett, who started his own, .com, and he got really rich off of, being an entrepreneur, and he has his own YouTube channel as well, The Diary of a CEO. It's really good. But he wrote a book with the same title, right? Diary of a CEO just came out recently. And he said that when people who are in a certain business or genre and they don't adapt to change, what he realizes, and he's, researched this pattern in business, is that they're scared of innovation and eventually they don't adapt. And so their business goes belly up. There was a man, I forget his name, but he told Ford when he was beginning his automobile company in Detroit, Michigan, he told him that the horse is here to stay. We all know what happened with that, right? Also, he, mentioned a MusicMogul businessman who said that, CDs will never go out of style because people love music. And Stephen said what this man failed to realize before his business went bankrupt was that people love music. They don't love CDs. So now we have streaming platforms. And what Marsau and other brick and mortar businesses fail to realize is that we are now in a digital era. So a lot of brick and mortar businesses are having a hard time keeping up because when, you have a network of a few people, okay, that's great. Or, a few hundred is even better. But what the internet and the digital era has ushered in is a global connection, a global market. So e-commerce is nothing to sneeze at. However, Marsau being so short-sighted and so ignorant, but also arrogant and jealous, that's where he fails to realize that he's limiting his own ability to network globally, especially by shading Melody, who has, like she said, a business sense and a business acumen that expands much further than just Huntsville. But, him and Tisha want to keep things local, so they'll continue to make local money. And unfortunately, because he has such a bad reputation and such a horrible attitude toward not only women, but just other people in general, that he's being sued for fraud. So that leads me to the town hall, right, that they all went to. Again, Marsau, taking jabs at Stormi, taking jabs at pretty much everybody there, right? Although he was really going at Stormi because I feel like since Stormi and Courtney and their hair care line is so successful, and they were trying to give positive feedback to Tisha and Marsau about, being more organized with the Blaque Business Expo in the future, that they're so thin-skinned and fragile and insecure, they weren't receptive to the feedback. That's why he was giving those little petty jabs. It reminded me of, girls on a middle school playground. Unfortunately, it seems like Marsau and Tisha haven't matured past that, because when Melody walks in, like she says, she could feel the tension in the air. She was trying to be Roseanne. Tisha was quiet as a church mouse. She didn't say a word until Melody, offered a suggestion. Boom. Tisha snaps up and comes after Mel. Her and Marsau, I'm telling you, they are like two peas in a pod. If I could give advice, the best advice I think that I've ever received was be careful who you partner with. Not only will you begin to emulate this person, but they can either help, lift you up and encourage you and inspire you, or they can drag you down to their level. And I feel like that's what Marsau has done with Tisha, unfortunately. So speaking of, right, let's move on to another Scott family, which is Kimmy and Miss Nell Fletcher. So Kimmy Scott, she's the one who orchestrated the town hall. She invites Nell, which this whole meeting, I don't know if it was just to like turn the knife, that, a betrayal that Nell said that she felt when her and Chris were excluded the first time. But she has a meeting with Nell to tell her that she didn't invite her and Chris to the town hall meeting. Make that make sense. Like, she's basically saying, I want you to meet with me one-on-one to tell you why not only did I exclude you from the original Blaque Business Expo, but also the town hall to give critiques. And Nell is saying, out of everyone here, me and Chris have been in business for 30 years in North Huntsville. So to me, I think that was just another unnecessary jab. If I was Nell, I would just politely decline any future invitations from Tisha or Kimmi or any Scotts, to be honest. But that's me. And speaking of her husband, Chris, right? Perfect segue. So he meets up with Martel and a friend of his on a construction site. And Chris is like, listen, man, like, when are you going to move out? Because the owners of the house that Martel is currently renting, they really need him out. And Martel's taking his sweet time. He's like, oh, a week and a half to 2 weeks. Chris is like, no, I need you gone. Like, I need you up and out, because this house needs to get sold and they're not playing with you. And again, a broken clock, okay, can be right twice a day. So Martel says that, Marsau was basically dead wrong for not only shading Melody, but Scott in general, right? Like, Marsau knows that the Holts, Melody Holt, now Rogers, and Martel Holt, were very successful in business. That's why he wanted to do business with them, right, for the past 10 years. And Melody, of course, checks him on this at the cafe, and Marsau apologizes reluctantly. But Martel is like, why is Marsau talking all this trash behind my back? I would have confronted him at the business expo if I had known that. He's like, put some respect on our name, that Melody and I, before we got divorced, were forced to be reckoned with. And they were, right? They were millionaires and they were very successful in business, which is, I think, the reason for Martel's downfall. The Bible says, pride comes before the fall. He was doing very well successfully. Scott was doing very well. They invited Marsau and Tisha onto the business. And again, I feel like Marsau is just that drain on everybody. His wife, Melody, Martel, like, he is just him, and his brothers. They are some just can't get right. The Scotts are a piece of work, man. No matter who is in relation to them. Kimmi, Marie's embarrassing her on Carlos King's platform. Micah, taking his time trying to get the construction together, not meeting the deadlines. their father, you know, shading Blaque, and they're just Mark, you know, putting his business and Vanessa's business out on the street and just being problematic. All four of them are messy. That's why I really hope that they can bring their mom on the show, because I would love to see her personality and how she raised these men, because the Scott brothers are a piece of work. But anyway, those are my thoughts. Y'all let me know in the comments what you think. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I will talk with you later. Take care, aces. Bye.